It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for Season 8 of The Walking Dead. As I mentioned yesterday during the live stream, AMC recently released a second trailer for the second half of Season 8. They already released like a sneak peek promo type of teaser that I already did a breakdown for, but they released another one just yesterday, which I haven't had a chance to do a breakdown for yet. So this is going to be my breakdown for that trailer. So the title of this trailer is Nightmare. So this is going to be my promo breakdown for this trailer. So let's get started. So the trailer starts with this very cool shot of Alexandria burning to the ground. We have all of these houses burning, and we have what looks to be the solar panels in the back here burning as well. We have Rick and Michonne carrying Carl, just like we saw in the other teaser. And they're heading towards this house. So this basically confirms that they're taking him to some location. But at this point, I don't know where the others are. Maybe they left Alexandria already, or maybe they're still in the sewers. But we have Rick and Michonne carrying Carl into this house. Maybe this is the infirmary. Maybe they're trying to treat him for his wound. Maybe trying to have him stay alive as long as possible so they can make it back to Hilltop. Because at this point, I think it's safe to assume that they're going to take him back to Hilltop.
You put away your gun, how you stopped fighting.
And then we have this kind of conversation between Carl and Rick, which we have in the background, which I'm going to talk about in a bit. But in this scene, this is still the sewers. We have Carl laying down on whatever mattress that he was on last time we saw him. And we have Rick and Michonne there by his side. This is probably right after the mid-season finale, right after we basically get the reveal that Carl has been bit. So we have Carl talking to Rick, it seems like, talking about how he put away his gun back in the prison. And this kind of connects back to the whole deal with Carl changing his mind about fighting the Saviors and killing them and giving them a chance. Just like he said to Negan, there's a way out. And I think this is basically what they're doing to kind of shape up what the finale is going to be, what the end of All Out War is going to look like in terms of what they're going to do with Negan and his storyline.
It was right. It still is.
And then we have the continuation of that conversation here. Carl saying it still is, that, you still can be the same guy and you can basically give people a chance, a second chance. Even people like the Saviors who might not have a lot of redeeming qualities. And in this specific shot here with Carl, I'm pretty sure this is still in the sewers, but Carl doesn't look really good. This might just be one of his last conversations with Rick. It seems like there's not a lot of time left for him. And then we have this very cool shot of Rick. I think that this is probably the next day. Now Rick looks pretty bad here. This really looks like the exact scene where we have the red eye Rick with Rick crying. I think those two scenes are definitely connected. I think that whatever leads to Rick feeling the way he was feeling is definitely connected to this shot here. Maybe he is reading the letter that Carl wrote in this scene. And maybe that's what basically makes him very emotional and he starts crying.
Can still be like that again.
And then we have Carl saying you can still be like that again.
I can't be who.
And then we have Rick saying I can't be who I used to be in the background there, basically saying that he's a different man now. But also what's very interesting is that we have Rick here. He's obviously in the middle of the field, but if you pay close attention, you can see that he's holding some sort of paper. This gives more confirmation that Rick is reading the letter that Carl wrote for him, and that could possibly be connected to the Rick crying scene, and it could basically be connected to why Rick is so emotional.
It was. It's different now.
We have this shot of Daryl here looking at the swamp. Now this could either be them trying to stop the herd from getting to Alexandria, or it could be them on their way to Hilltop. Because like I said, at this point, it's safe to assume that they're going to go to the Hilltop. So this could possibly be that. In my other teaser, I did say that this is them trying to stop the herd from getting to Alexandria, and I still think it could possibly be that. However, there's an alternative that this could be all of the survivors who were in the sewers getting back to Hilltop where it's safer than it is at Alexandria. And I think it's safe to say that at this point, they're basically faced with an obstacle. This swamp here is not going to be something that they can basically cross very easily. So this could be a kind of challenge for them getting across this and trying to head to Hilltop. And one of the reasons why they're kind of going through these weird routes to get to Hilltop is because the roads are filled with saviors and they're trying not to be detected by the saviors, and that's why they can't use the main roads. We have this shot of Daryl again. They're in the same kind of area with the swamp, and we have Rosita in the back there and one of the other Alexandrians there as well. And we have the walkers kind of jumping out of the swamp here. We have this interesting shot of Negan. He is facing the other way, and we have Lucille on the table. Now, I think this scene here is related to the other kind of scenes that we're going to see later on in this teaser.
Here's our friends. They had themselves an escape plan.
We have Negan saying our friends found themselves an escape plan. Now, this is basically the aftermath of them attacking the Alexandria safe zone. So Negan is basically saying that they found a way out of the safe zone without us seeing them. So they're still out there. And we have Simon talking to Negan here. And we have a walkie-talkie on the table there, which is probably the same one that Negan uses to communicate with Rick.
And they are.
And then we have this scene here with Siddiq and Carl. Now, this is definitely a flashback, so they are definitely playing around with time a little bit. They're doing some sort of flashback scene as well, because this is before everything went down at Alexandria. This is when Carl took Siddiq to Alexandria and put him in the sewers right before Negan and the Saviors attacked. So they're definitely going back in time a little bit, jumping around. So the timeline is definitely not linear.
Up there somewhere.
And we have Negan saying, but they're out there somewhere. Again, referring to them getting away from Alexandria safe zone and escaping. We have this scene of the survivors in the sewers. We have this very cool shot. This is definitely at Hilltop, and we basically will see the survivors come in later on in this teaser. But this is most likely when the survivors get to Hilltop after they escaped the Alexandria safe zone.
We're going to Hilltops.
We have Morgan, Carol, and Ben's brother. I don't remember his name, but they're also at the Hilltop. So I'm assuming that Carol and Morgan are successful in breaking Ezekiel out of the kingdom, and everybody basically comes and meets up at Hilltop where it's safe.
That's the way.
We have all of the Alexandrians walking through the door at the Hilltop. So this is basically another kind of reunion that we're going to see with everybody basically reuniting.
All of you.
We have Maggie just finding out that the group is at the Hilltop.
One place together.
We have this part with Dwight kind of talking to the survivors in the sewers, where he's saying basically all of you together will be able to fight back against the Saviors. We have the continuation of the other scene with them arriving at Hilltop. We have the reunion that I was talking about here. Now Carol looks shocked, so maybe at this point she realizes that something's happened with Carl, and maybe that's where the reveal comes in, where we see everybody who didn't know already, including Carol, Enid, Morgan, and the others, that Carl has been bit.
All of us together will be their worst damn nightmare.
And we have Daryl saying, all of us together, we will be their worst damn nightmare. Obviously, as a response to what Dwight said about all of you together would be able to defeat them. And he was holding baby Judith in that scene, if you look closely as well. We have this very cool shot of this walker hand. Now, I don't know why they are highlighting this. I can't see anything special about it. It definitely looks gruesome and interesting. I can't make out why they're highlighting this scene here. I think this might just be connected to the kingdom, with Morgan trying to break Ezekiel out. This could also be some sort of flashback, because as we will see later on in this teaser, they might be flashing back even further than what I've already talked about. That's the scene I was talking about with Morgan kind of attracting the herd and trying to lead them somewhere. And then we have this shot of Siddiq and Daryl killing the walkers that are in the swamp. Now, this is, of course, connected to the other shot that I was talking about with them being in the swamp area or Daryl looking at the swamp. Both of those scenes. And as we will see later on, Tara is going to be there, Dwight is going to be there, Rosita is going to be there, and some Alexandrians are also going to be there. We have this very, very interesting shot here. We have Michonne and Rick climbing some trash. This is definitely in the junkyard. This is the same junkyard that Jadis and the other heapsters are at. And if we pay even closer attention, we will see that these are not any ordinary walkers, they are the heapsters. So they're wearing the exact same kind of outfit that the heapsters are wearing. So this is definitely the heapsters. So the heapsters have been eliminated. All of them are dead, or most of them. And this is most likely a direct result of the confrontation between Jadis and Simon, which we did see in the last teaser a little bit, and we will see more of that in this teaser. But it seems like Jadis has made it. Either Simon let her go or she just found a way to escape. But it seems like our prediction was right that we will see Simon killing all of the heapsters or the scavengers and putting them down. Just like we predict he did back at Oceanside. Although it seems like it's going to be a bit different than what he did back at Oceanside because he didn't just shoot them in the back of the head. He just killed them in a way that they would come back as walkers. We have Rick and Michonne killing some walkers here. Now they are holding the fire extinguishers. So this is most likely back at Alexandria. We have Gavin saying Negan is going to kill you. Ezekiel has this cold face. It's going to be very interesting to see what they do with Gavin. I'm very interested to see Gavin's story play out and see what they do with Gavin. I hope they don't just kill him. I hope there's more interesting story for him. Obviously, we know that Carol and Morgan are trying to break Ezekiel free, and through this confrontation, Gavin might end up getting killed. But I hope that they have some interesting story planned out for Gavin. We have this interesting shot of Negan, Simon, and some other saviors. Now, this is the exact same conference table that we saw Negan at earlier on. We have Simon there. He was talking to Negan. This might be before or after Simon went to the heapsters. So this could be the aftermath of that, and Simon could be telling Negan what happened, or it could be before then. But what's very interesting is that they bring in the box. If you remember, Maggie asked Simon if she could have this box. Simon agreed. What Maggie did is she killed one of those prisoners of war and put the body in the box as an intimidation method. Get Negan to understand that she's not afraid to kill all of the prisoners of war if Negan pushes her. So this is basically going to be a reveal that one of the saviors who was a prisoner of war is in that box, and I'm pretty sure Negan is going to be pissed about that. Simon might even be pissed about that because he might realize that this is the exact same box that he let Maggie have. So things could get very interesting in that front as well. So that's going to be very interesting to see. It could be him reacting to what Simon is telling him, maybe telling him about what happened back in the junkyard.
Buried my people to freedom.
We have Ezekiel telling Gavin, I've buried my people to freedom. We have this interesting shot of Negan. This is the same exact box, and obviously this is the body that was inside. Now, if we go back, we can see that Maggie did not shoot the savior in the head. She shot him in the chest. So obviously the savior is going to come back as a walker. Negan is putting the savior down, and he's doing it with a freaking nail gun. That's just epic. That's going to be very interesting to see. Negan doesn't look very happy.